Sky here with Smart Poker Study. I'm going to give you the 3 things that you must do before you hire your first poker coach. Let's rock and roll, sweet Susie. Gambate! So the first thing you need to do before hiring a coach is to analyze your statistics and your win rates. Measuring your stats and win rates and analyzing them, that's going to clue you in on your areas of weakness. Let's say you run the numbers and you find that when you call flop c-bets, your win rate is negative 220 big blinds per 100 hands. That means on average, every time you call, you're losing 2.2 big blinds. Now, your coach is going to look at your numbers. He's going to see this right away, and he's going to help you address it by giving you better calling strategies to use. But if you notice this leak for yourself ahead of time, you could find resources to study and to improve your calling results on your own. Just look for videos on YouTube or podcast episodes, or maybe a chapter from your favorite book, or even articles online, or a membership site like the Poker Forge. For example, in the Forge, I have a video within the Finding the Fold course. It's called You Have Options. And in that video, I give you the strategies you need to make profitable c-bet calls. So you've addressed that low-hanging fruit area. So when you finally meet with a coach, he'll help you target the harder to find areas. And if you've never analyzed your own statistics and win rates, on the show notes page, I have my 41 stats and win rates tracker, plus a video to help you fill it out, smartpokerstudy.com/pod497. Thing number 2 is to pick that low-hanging fruit. So you've done your analysis, and through that analysis, you've found some low-hanging fruit. Let's imagine that gap between your VPIP and PFR, it's very high. Maybe you're like a 28-14 player. That huge 14% gap, that means that you're calling just as often as you're raising, so you are one of the fishy marks you're looking for. Maybe you also find that your win rates when you're calling in the blinds are negative 230 big blinds per 100 hands in the big blind and negative 184 per 100 hands in the small blind. Holy Stromboli! You know these are terrible. Because if you folded every big blind, you'd be at negative 100. Folding every small blind, negative 50. You are more than tripling your folding losses out of the small blind and more than doubling your losses out of the big blind. So you must address this. Maybe a third low-hanging fruit that you found. When you're calling c-bets on the flop, negative 220 big blinds per 100 hands. On the turn, negative 465. On the river, negative 1845. Holy cow, that's another important and also low-hanging fruit to pick. Now, I always recommend to work from early to late and big to small. This means that you tackle pre-flop areas first because this naturally improves post-flop areas. And you also want to address the most common and costly spots first. So if those were your 3 issues, I think you must work first on your blind calling strategies. If you improve your blind calling strategies, that's just going to naturally decrease that gap between VPIP and PFR. So more of the hands you play when you choose to play are going to be aggressively as opposed to passively calling. And then with better pre-flop calling strategies out of the blinds, that's going to help your calling c-bets on flops, turns, and rivers because you're going to get to those streets with a better range of hands. So if this was you, right, you found those 3 areas right here, and I as your coach, here's what I would tell you. Here's 6 things you need to do. First, find content to study for better blind calling strategies. Of course, as a coach, I would give you that content, right? I would tell you exactly where to go. I would share with you the strategies. Once you find them for yourself, you're going to study and you're going to take notes. Next, you're going to take action with what you learn, and you're going to actively use the strategies you studied. Next, as you're playing, you're going to tag hands, and then you're going to review those tagged hands to refine your strategies. You're going to remeasure your results, your statistics and your win rates again after 3 or 5,000 or even 10,000 hands. And then you're going to repeat those 5 steps over and over again until things turn positive and you've built your skills and turned yourself into a winning player. Now, the third thing to do before you hire a coach is to get the most out of your favorite poker book. So this is going to help you train yourself to take direction from a coach. Because sometimes it happens, I have a student come in, they want to learn from me, I start imparting my knowledge, I start helping them out with strategies, and they don't listen. They're set in their ways, they think this other thing that they learned from somewhere else is a better way, but they came to me to address their issues. I am their coach, they should be listening and trying and doing the things that I tell them to do. And I know it can be tough, especially when you learned other things from other sources in the past. but you want to train yourself to take direction from a coach. So grab your favorite poker book. Now treat the book like it's the author speaking directly to you. He is coaching you through the words in his book. So each chapter, imagine it's a one-on-one weekly session with your coach. So 10 chapters is 10 weeks worth of one-on-one time with your coach. So each week with each chapter, here's what you're going to do. Read the chapter and take notes. He is addressing the things that you need to do to become a better player, and then create action steps for the week. Now, as you know, I give action steps for everything I do, right? But most authors, they don't give action steps. So imagine, like I said, he is telling you what to do through his words. So write down those action steps. Number 3 is to take action every day with those action steps. And then number 4 is to repeat the process next week with the next chapter and so on. If you can take instruction from a book and treat it like it's your coach interacting directly with you, you are going to be a much stronger player for it. Plus, you're going to be prepared to take instruction from your future coach.
Challenge!
Here's my challenge to you for this episode. If you're thinking about hiring a coach, do all the 3 things I discussed today. Now, if you don't want to hire a coach, that's totally cool. But at a minimum, you can be your own coach by finding the low-hanging fruit that I discussed earlier with steps 1 and 2. And then you can also imagine you have your coach with your favorite poker book. Your work is now cut out for you, so take action on it. It's your turn to take that action and do something positive for your poker game.